Earnestly podcast, recording this Monday evening, December 22nd, 2025. A little different flavor today on this podcast. Decided to play a little different intro just because I wanted to. How you guys doing? We are now 3 days until Christmas. I just checked the feed a little while ago, and I just realized this is the first solo episode I think I've done in over a month. I have been completely busy. Now, look, here's the thing. I've been recording pods. You guys know I'm recording podcasts, but I have a lot of guests on the show. But, you know, the solo shows typically are where I sit down and talk about all the things going on in my life, all the things that are, just, outside of the guests I have and their interests and whatnot. Yeah, so the last solo episode I recorded was November 18th, 2025, literally over a month ago. And we've done a lot in the last couple weeks. As you guys know, I recently moved to a new place. Like I said, I moved actually just 2 buildings over. Not necessarily a big move, but there was a lot that was entailed in the move. By the way, we are going audio only today on this one. I have really bad allergies. Really bad allergies that I got last night, and it's trickled over to today. I went to work today. I had to leave work early today. And let me tell you something now. When I get really bad allergies, man, it is bad. Like, it's not just the fact that I have to, sniffling and the snorting and the sneezing and all this stuff. It really wears me down. And, I actually feel sick. Like, I feel weak. And I feel like I can't move and lethargic. And I can't stand it. But anyway, back to the move. You guys know I moved. I've been saying it on the other shows I've been doing over the course of the last month or so. But the move itself was smooth for us for the most part. Like, we got a lot done. We downsized a lot, and which was great because I told you guys last time we did the pod when we were telling you we're doing this. One of the things my wife and I wanted to do was to get rid of a lot of shit. Like, we lived in our other place for 8 years. We gathered a lot of stuff, even when we tried to not add too much things in the house and get rid of things and summer cleans and spring cleans, whatnot. It wasn't enough. But she's in a place now where she wanted to get rid of so much stuff. And you know me, I'm always looking to find ways to cut back on things. And especially with stuff that doesn't matter. And as we were going through the house, packing stuff, we got rid of so much crap, And even now, we're in a new place now. We're still looking to do cuts now. Like, I told my wife, I'm comparing this to Elon Musk and Doge. Of course, that's not very popular right now because of some of the political landscape of things there. But it was just a joke, guys. Just a joke. So the move itself was smooth. We had really good friends help us out to the move. Shout out to my friends Donnie and my friends Jess and Todd and his kids came over and helped us out. Of course, my friend Jason helped me with some of the pre-move stuff with the U-Haul truck and whatnot. But we don't feel quite settled in yet. And the reason why is because we moved here and the development here, unfortunately, were not prepared. They were not ready. And my wife got wind of that because we noticed that we knew where we were moving to. And about 9 days prior to us moving here, we had saw that the the people that were here, people who were living here initially, was still here 9 days before we was moving there. They moved out like 9 days before we was move in. Now, typically in development, you need about 2-3 weeks before you can move into the next place. Like, they need to clean out the place, gut it out, clean up, replace things, all that. And my wife said, I don't think they're going to be ready in time because it's like only a week to prepare. And sure enough, she was correct on that. We got here, and they didn't clean the place at all. We had to call the cleaning crew to come clean the place, and they weren't even going to come in until later that night. And, she's like, no. We're moving in today. We're moving today. We need this place clean. So they able to move it up to the clean crew here. You can smell the paint, how fresh it was. They probably just painted the garage and whatnot. It was a bit of a clusterfuck in a sense because, we get here, and then we have issues with the fridge, which we're only now getting fixed tomorrow. Got a new fridge. The fridge is fine. It's just that the ice maker doesn't work now, and we're finally getting it replaced today. We had an issue with we had a little bit of a bug issue too, also, which we're finally getting to the bottom of now. Finally, there's a lot of things that were not prepared. A couple of damages of things in the house that they fixed finally. The garage was broken. They had to fix the garage finally a couple days after we moved in. So it was smooth on our end, but they were not ready on their end. And it really sucked. And the worst part is that it'd be one thing if they were going to waive the transfer fee. Then I'm not going to complain about it. But we paid $1,000 to move. Okay, we paid $1,000 to move. And they still weren't ready, you know? And I'm like, what we paid for them? You know what I'm saying? But, you know, like I said, we're finally in. We've been here now about 2 weeks and a few days. The kids love it. We went from a 2.5 townhouse to a 2 apartment, and while it is smaller in square feet, you won't notice it though, because number one, we downsized so much. Number one, number two, I'm convinced that the square foot that we lost was solely on the stairs, because the kids love it. They say themselves they feel spacious here. They feel like they have more privacy here. They're happier here. For me personally, this is a great move for me. For starters, you know, I got a patio again after a while, because the patio we had a patio in the last place though, but the patio was not cut off. At least the patio here is cut off now. Where there's actually a space to where it's like a door. It's supposed to, like, it was open before. But the best part for me, of course, and I said in the show already, is I now get more podcast space. So we had a 1-car garage at our old place. We ended up getting a 2-car garage. So the garage here is fucking massive, okay? So much to the point now that I am now able to do all my shows in here in the garage. You can hear a little bit of echo, which is fine. It's a lot of space. And we did my shows before in my bedroom closet, which is a very spacious closet. Thank God we're doing it here, because the closet space that I have currently, while it is semi-large, it is nowhere in the space of what I had before. So I need a space to do the podcast. And thankfully, I have the space here to do that. So for me, I have a lot of room now. I mean, guys, to be honest with you, I'm probably going to build a man cave here, most likely, an actual man cave. I'm probably going to put a TV in here. I'm going to put a couch in here. I have that much room. That's how big it is. So for me, on a personal level, it is fantastic. The only thing I was worried about initially was that, okay, so I'm in a garage, and between the garage and the house itself, it's concrete. So could the Wi-Fi work properly? And so far, it has been nothing but perfection, honestly. So I am very excited about that. Now, we are still kind of in the rhythm right now, because, you know, again, there's still things getting fixed on the fly still. There's the bug issues still being worked out. We got pest control coming tomorrow. The fridge is finally getting fixed tomorrow, finally. So we're not 100% settled in yet. My wife especially is not settled in yet. She's been stressed the hell out in the last 2 weeks because of it. She doesn't feel settled just yet. So, which I totally understand. You know, she likes things a certain way, be done a certain way, and, you know, and I get that. She deserves to have what she wants, you know, and in that way, and she does the right things and do it at the right time. But now we're close to selling now. You know, the holidays are around the corner. We bought a tree last week, and we're slowly getting to the holidays now. We were so stressed out with the move that we didn't feel in the Christmas spirit until, like, literally last week. And even then, we're still like kind of like we're kind of limping in, but we're not really like fully in. We're in for the most part. I think by the time we get to the middle of this week, we should be okay visiting family and, you know, doing all the functions we do every year. But you know, I will say, once we settle in officially, like really settle in, I think it'll be a couple more days or a couple of weeks. I think we're gonna have a very, very good time here in this space. I know for me personally, I love it. I told you the podcast space is huge for me. So, sorry, my voice sounds cracking. I apologize. It's my allergies. But you know, we'll see what happens. And but I'm very happy to be here. Now, this weekend we went to probably will be our last concert of the year. My wife and I, a little date night. We went to see Creed down at the Hard Rock, Seminole Hard Rock in Hollywood, Florida. We saw Creed, yes. The reason we went to the show wasn't because of Creed, though. We went to see one of our favorite bands, Seven Dust. I have probably seen Seven Dust somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 12 or maybe 13 times live. Seven Dust, of course, is one of my top 5 favorite bands. Actually, one of my top 4 favorite bands of all time. My wife and I both, but especially me, I am a massive fan of the band. We went because they are the opening act. We got free tickets, honestly. And honestly, we would have, to be honest with you, we wouldn't have gone to the show if we didn't get free tickets. Only because of the fact that Seven Dust was not playing in a headlining spot. They opened the show, so we decided, you know what, if we get free tickets, let's go. And not only that, we made it that night, and we had a great time. My wife and I hadn't had a chance to really spend time together really in the last couple months, and like away from the kids for an extended period of time outside like a breakfast here or a dinner here. So us going to the concert, having a great time. We went to dinner at the Hard Rock Cafe. We had a nice dinner together, her and I. Then went to the concert, had a great time. I gotta tell you, by the way, the show is called CreedMAS, which is Creed's Christmas shows. And I gotta tell you, the crowd was, I'll be straight up, the crowd was fucking lame, bro. It was lame, in my opinion. Like a Seven Dust show, especially too, the crowds are much more into it. And yes, there were Seven Dust fans there, and they were jamming and whatever. There was some section of people that were enjoying it, but the crowd's a little bit older too, especially now. Granted, I'm in that same ilk of the same age of the group of the people who are older, but I was still into it. I was still singing my ass off for Seven Dust during their set. Creed was pretty good. I actually enjoyed Creed's set. We didn't stay the entire time because we had to get back home. It's about an hour drive from where we were at to get our kids, who was at my brother's house the entire day. But Creed was good. This is actually the second time I've seen him live. Technically my third time, although the first time I saw them, I didn't see them. I missed them. Strange enough, 1999, when I first saw Creed, which I didn't see them, unfortunately, they played with Metallica, who was the opening act, who was the main act. But it was Kid Rock, Seven Dust, Creed, and Metallica. But I missed the first three bands because I came to the show late. It was the December 28th, 1999 at the old Orange Bowl. That was my second time seeing Metallica live. And then we saw Creed in 2010, I believe. And honestly, my wife and I went to see him back in 2010. We did not enjoy that show whatsoever. We thought Scott sounded like shit. The band didn't sound great, in my opinion. So I wasn't as thrilled about the show for Creed, but I got to tell you, Scott Stapp looks very healthy. If you read his story, there's a lot of demons he's gone through his life, and he's coming to better end of it now. At least what it seems like. Yeah, they sound really good. I was really impressed with that with them. I'll tell you, Mark Tremonti, the guitar player, if anything, he is to me the MVP of that band. He is a phenomenal guitar player. Writes amazing riffs. To me, that's the reason I like Creed. It's probably because of him. Love the first album, My Own Prison. Sorry, but yeah, it was a good night. You know, spent time with my wife and. You know, being able to connect again, her and I, which we've been having a lot of issues with that lately because we've been busy. We've been busy with Christmas and work and the move and everything around it. And it's important to make sure the main thing is make sure your family, your marriage is intact and the kids are good and family is good and all that stuff. So, 1 second, let's take a sip of water real quick. All right, sorry, I had to take a sip of water. Man, I'm telling you, my allergies is killing me. I know. I don't know how I'm doing a podcast right now, honestly. But anyway, let's talk about the New York Mets offseason. It's been a very crazy offseason for the Mets. The Mets had a very disappointing season end to the year. You had to know that with all the expectations coming to the year, and what was expected of this team, you know, the way it ended, you couldn't expect the same team to come back next year. And unfortunately, the Mets are making a lot of moves now to move off of guys off this roster, and even guys I love, and I'm hurt by it, who's not going to be here. But, you know, you do what you got to do. It's business, and it's also, you know, if you fail, you have to make a move. They're doing that. You got to give David Stearns credit for that. First off, the big move that really gutted me was, you know, they traded Brandon Nimmo for Marcus Stemman, second baseman Marcus Stemman. So Marcus Stemman's actually a really, really good second baseman. Like, really good. Like, Gold Glove winner. But I love Nimmo. Brandon Nimmo is actually my favorite player on the Mets squad. He just plays hard, puts his head down, but at the same time, you got to make moves. You got Edwin Diaz now, you know, signing with the Dodgers for 3 years, $9 million. That was another tough move, but again, you know, we'll see if Diaz is still going to be as good. He's been kind of shaky in recent years. Of course, the big one, losing Pete Alonso to the Orioles of 5 years, $155 million. I wish, if anything, they could have made it work with Alonso, but at the same time, could you really honestly justify paying Pete Alonso at age, I think he's 32 right now. Could you justify paying P. Alonso at those many years at that clip, especially given how the season played out last year? You can't blame the Mets front office. I know it's unpopular. Again, Mets fans are mad, and rightfully so. But here's the thing: what if these moves actually work and put the team over the top? I mean, it was clear there was a ceiling, and quite frankly, after the team melted down in the second half of the year, reality had to settle in that this was likely. But here's what I will say: David Stearns is officially on the clock because these are severely unpopular moves with the fan base. However, something had to be done, and we have to be willing to see this through. Because at the end of the day, something wasn't working. So you can't say he's not doing anything. He's doing something. He's making tough moves. Whether I like the moves or not, we won't know that. I didn't like it initially. It was heartbreaking, but I also understood it's business. It's also, you can't bring that same team back after the way they melted down last year. You can't. You can't justify that. I seriously just cannot justify that. So I can't say I'm mad at him for that. Honestly, I really cannot. So, but we'll see. Like I said, we're a couple more months before the season starts, obviously. But this very tough time to be a Mets fan right now. Lots of guys I loved. A lot of players, a lot of fans love too. Also are gone. But like I said, there's no way in hell you can expect this same team to come back next year. That's just impossible. It really is impossible. NBA Christmas. Gotta tell you, this was the first time in a couple of years because the NBA has always been. Christmas time is where the NBA really starts to launch into like if you're a casual NBA fan, you're not really watching intently between October and December. You're more into football and this and that. And as football starts to whittle out a little bit now, we get to the playoffs and college ball into the playoffs, the NBA starts to become more focused. Now, me, of course, I'm different. I'm a diehard. But the NFL last couple of years have actually dominated, has actually taken over NBA at Christmas Day too also. But this year's schedule in the NFL is pretty crappy. And again, they didn't even expect this. Like the 3 games this year they have in the NFL mean nothing. Most of them mean nothing. Like the first game, for example, who's played the first game this year? Let me see that. First game is Cowboys Commanders. Like people will still watch it, I'm sure, but both teams are out of the playoffs. Both teams are living for the playoff contention, so it doesn't matter. Doesn't care. Second game, Lions and Vikings. Like the Lions are still playing for playoffs to go to the playoffs, but they got to win out. Their hopes of the playoffs are very narrow at best. Minnesota's out as well too, and then you have the late game, Denver and Kansas City, where Denver's the number 1 seed currently in the AFC. So they're playing to keep position to keep the number 1 seed in the AFC. KC's done. They're done. Mahomes is hurt, and then the backup's hurt too on top of that. So they're done. So other than Detroit and Denver's playing for playoff positioning or to stay alive, the NFL schedule for Christmas this year, unlike in past years, is crappy. It's crappy. So the NBA this year may actually have a chance to not say outright the NFL, because I'm not thinking everyone outright the NFL, but at the very least, showcase some really good games. And they got some good games this year. First off, the noon game, you got Cavs and Knicks, possibly Eastern Conference Finals matchup. Although the Cavs have been really underwhelming this year, the Knicks to me should be the easy favorites in the East, in my opinion. You got Spurs and Thunder. This could be the biggest rivalry of the future. You have Wemby against SGA, Wemby against Chet Holmgren. The future of the league right there at 2:30. You got the 5:00 game, the Mavericks and Warriors. That's a little bit mid game, but Cooper Flagg's playing one side. Steph Curry should be healthy for this one as well too. Also, Klay Thompson returns to Golden State, of course. You got the 8:00 game between the Rockets and Lakers. Lakers are playing great so far this year. The Rockets also been phenomenal, with Kevin Durant and whatnot. Then late game, of course, between the Timberwolves and the Nuggets. You have Ant Edwards against Nikola Jokic. So the NBA slate is so much more intriguing than the NFL for once this year. Now, will it play out in the numbers? That remains to be seen. But there's very intriguing matchups this year in the NBA. I'm looking forward to it. Finally, before I get out of here, we're still reeling over the news of Rob Reiner, who was murdered a week and a half ago by, looks like his son. It seems like his son is going to be. It seems like a very a shut door case, pretty much, that his son was the one that murdered him. Was his son Nick Reiner murdered him. And as I told you guys on, when I did a pod, I think with Big Jim a couple days ago and others, I was a huge Rob Reiner fan. Love his movies. I even love his political commentary. Like whenever we'd be on Bill Maher, we'd be on any TV, any shows on cable TV or any podcast. If he was talking, I was listening. He was on Piers Morgan. He was actually a kind of semi-regular on Piers Morgan's podcast. And whenever he was on there, I always watched because I loved hearing his perspective. I mean, and a lot politically I agree with him too also. So I'm not going to sit there and bullshit you about that. But above all, he seemed like a very kind man more than anything else. So I want to give you guys my top 5 Rob Reiner movies of all time. And there's many, and there's some more I'm realizing that I have not seen that I need to see. And there was one about President Lyndon Johnson, that he actually directed back in 2016, I think it was. And I think Woody Harrelson played Lyndon Johnson. I need to watch that. In fact, I'm gonna try to find that tonight and see if I can watch it. If the game tonight, by the way, if the Colts game tonight against the Niners is shitty, I might make that my plans tonight. So here are my top 5 Rob Reiner movies of all time. Number 5, this is Spinal Tap, the classic. What a classic! Haven't seen this in a long time. I think I still have it on DVD actually though. But this is a classic. I forget sometimes that he directed this movie. I don't remember if this is his first directed movie, but it's definitely one of his first ones. Definitely one of his first big ones. But this Spinal Tap is I haven't heard it, watched a movie in a long time. I need to watch it again, but it's been a long time. But great movie. All right, number 4, Stand By Me, another classic from 1986. Another movie I haven't seen in a long time, but it was one of the movies that growing up, you could not avoid it. Love the storytelling in it too, especially too. Very well written. Another classic. Number 3. These top 3 are my ultimate top. These top 3 here are my ultimate top 3 with a bullet. Number 3, one of my all-time favorites, Sleepless in Seattle. I used to watch this movie religiously as a kid. This came out, I think, in 1992 or 93, maybe 91. I'm not sure exactly. But I absolutely love the chemistry with Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. By the way, Meg Ryan, one of my really early crushes of my childhood. Loved her. Very adorable, cute, and this. He's just great at eye candy too. You know what I mean? She wasn't like unbelievably sexy, but just her personality. Her smile, the eyes, and the way she was interpreted on film, amazing. All right, number two for me, one of my all-time favorite movies, probably top 10 movie all-time for me, The Princess Bride. Oh my God. I mean, you can't speak enough about the greatness of this movie. Carrie Yule's in this movie, Andre the Giant in this movie, Billy Crystal was amazing in this movie. I mean, it's an all-star cast. I remember as a child watching this in 7-year-old 1987, and it was truly incredible. My wife and I watch the movie very often, at least once a year. It is a classic. It is, you look at movies that you recommend for anyone. This is my top 10 movies that I recommend anybody. Princess Bride, number 2. And number one for me with a bullet. This is actually one of my top 5 movies all time. Also, When Harry Met Sally, Billy Crystal, and again Meg Ryan. A fascinating love story. And I love this kind of movies too, especially. And we were actually, the scene where Meg Ryan does the fake orgasm with Billy Crystal in, at the deli for lunch. We were there actually this August, and we actually sat very close to where that scene was shot, and it was very cool to be there, especially someone like myself who is a massive fan of this movie. It was very cool to see that, and I love the very last speech, Billy Crystal makes to Meg Ryan, at the New Year's Eve or New Year's. I love you when it's cold at night. This and that, the whole run. I don't have the word for word, but oh my gosh, I get goosebumps watching it all the time. I get goosebumps watching it. So Reiner and Sally number 1 for me. Like I said, it's this is Spinal Tap number 5, Stand By Me number 4, Sleepless in Seattle number 3, The Princess Bride number 2, and then With a Bullet number 1, When Harry Met Sally. So again, that'll do it for me on this podcast. Video only today. Dated, of course, December 22nd, 2025. I'm on X at EJ Christian 7. And we will have a couple more pods, I think, this week before the holiday season. We'll talk to you guys later. God bless you guys. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Thank you.